2 years ago, I did a video on Verdun about where are the players, because at the time a lot of people used to get the game, and they used to sort of come back to the channel and then comment, where the fuck is everyone? Why is no one playing the game? And at that time, the game was really fucking glitched. There was a lot of things going wrong, and I remember playing in some nights there'd be 3 players on, sometimes there'd be like 10. At very most, you'd probably have 15 on, and it was really, it was really bad at the time. And that was 2 years ago. And then I stuck by it, and a few more players came back just before the update, and then the update came out and it got really popular again. But even now, Verdun still has its good days and it has its bad days. Sometimes you'll get lots of players on, sometimes you'll hardly get any. Although, in recent times, you've always had enough to get a full game, from what I've seen on Verdun. But then, tonight I've been on Tannenberg, and in fact the last few times I've been on Tannenberg, there's hardly been anyone on. So what I'm going to do now is explain why that is, and explain what usually happens with Verdun and Tannenberg when it comes to the player base. So what I've found with Verdun generally is you'll have waves of sort of like months and weeks where you'll get quite a lot of players on and they'll stick around by the game. Usually it can occur when maybe a big YouTuber's like played the game, and people sort of get a bit of inspiration from that and want to go on, or WW1's game series have made an update, or they've released some sort of video like Isonzo, for example, and that got a lot of guys interested in the WW1 game series again, and made them play it. But then other times you get like sort of downer points where not many people will play it, and usually this is down to people getting bored. Obviously new other games coming out, and then for me at the minute, one of the reasons I'm not playing Verdun at all is because it's just unbelievably glitchy for me at the minute. It's just insane. I can't stream it. I can't even play it for long, because usually after about an hour, sometimes less, sometimes longer, I get booted out the game. The game crashes. I get a blue screen error, and it fucks me up. And as I've said before, if you're playing, like if you're in an hour, sort of you've done 35 minutes into a game, you've done really well, and at the end it sort of boots you out before you've got your XP, before you've got your points. You can't be arsed going back on again. It's a bit shit. And at the minute they don't really seem to be fixing these issues. Now I've spoken to a few people on our Discord, and they've sort of said usually when you get a glitch on World War One game series, whether it be Tannenberg or Verdun, it takes a long time before they address it and fix it, and even more so when it comes to consoles. Now I've spoken to a few people before as well. I'm not sure if people on Xbox are getting the blue screen or a game crash bug, but it's definitely happening to people on PlayStation, which is a bit of a pain in the arse. So that type of thing tends to stop people from playing the game. But as I say, they come back to the game eventually, and hopefully with new updates we'll get more players again. But it does go to the more serious issue of World War One game series addressing these issues, because it almost killed the game a few years ago. Verdun, it almost killed the game, because there was, as I say, there was like 3 or 4 people playing the game, and it wasn't really until sort of to the time of the big update that people came back to it. And Tannenberg's at this stage now where as soon as you've got like 15 players on, maybe less a night, and as I say, the game tonight I was in, I think there was 16 players in the EU server, but only 8 people were actually playing the game itself, like in a lobby or something. It's just not good enough. And for me personally, as someone I used to play with the bots all the time when I couldn't play online properly. But now I've got used to online. I love playing it, and for me, the game doesn't feel the same playing against bots. I think it's just not as fun. It's not as active. It's quite boring. But then, I suppose that comes down to personal preference. But what I'm hoping Tannenberg will do is do what Verdun did. It's going to get busy again for whatever reason. Maybe there's an update, or people get excited about Isonzo, because it's not a bad game in general, Tannenberg, at all. It's not a bad game. It's got some great maps. It's got some interesting weapons. The features on it are really cool. But yeah, so if you're worried about the player base at the minute in Tannenberg, it could be for a number of reasons, but what it tends to do is it has its good days and its bad days, and it usually, depending on where you are in the world, the UK especially, what I know is at weekends it gets a lot more busy, and I think it's the same with the US server. Now I'm not sure if anyone even plays the Australian and Asian servers. I'm really not sure, but I usually just stick to the US and UK servers, and as I say, weekends is when it gets busy again. And usually nights as well, but through the day it's quite dead. But we'll see what the future brings. I imagine with more sort of content being released for the newest World War One game series game, Isonzo, I think It'll bring some more players back to Tannenberg and Verdun. But yeah, I don't really know how Verdun's doing at the minute. As I say, I can't really play it, but hopefully that game's still got more players than Tannenberg has. But anyway, that was just a little explanation for people who are new to the game and are thinking what the hell's going on. Don't panic. Players should be back at some point. If they're not, then fuck knows. Right, thanks for watching. Stay safe.